From the UC Berkeley Art Museum and Pacific Film Archive, this is Off the Shelves, highlighting some of the rare treasures of BAM-PFA's Film Library and Study Center. Through the project, Saving Film Exhibition History, digitizing recordings of guest speakers at the Pacific Film Archive, 1976 to 1986, BAM-PFA is digitizing a decade's worth of guest speaker recordings, filmmaker presentations, panel discussions, and Q&As from the early years of the Pacific Film Archive, making them available online for the first time. The project is supported by a Recordings at Risk grant from the Council on Library and Information Resources. The grant program is made possible by funding from the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation. Here's David Lynch, live in person, introducing Eraserhead in March of 1978.
This is the first time I've done this, so go easy on me.
Any questions? You have no questions about this film. It's all very clear.
Let's just wrap it up and go home.
Yes.
I'm really curious how you got American like that, which is totally
I'm curious about that too. I don't know how it came out. I made a short film with the Independent Filmmakers Grant Program before I made this film. And on the strength of that, I was accepted at their center in Beverly Hills. And I worked on a feature script for the first year I was there. And that other people got involved and it got wrecked. And so I started working on this. And they left me alone and they really didn't know exactly what I was up to, I think.
Tell me more about the construction of the monster.
Yeah, I can't tell you about that. I haven't told anybody, so I'm sorry. Yeah?
About the construction of the monster.
Of the baby.
It's a parent, an old family secret recipe. Can't be told. Any reactions? Do you want to know
Pardon?
the reactions?
Sure. So, good, or what? Yeah. Maybe we should have had these talks about a couple of days after the... What?
What brought you about making it?
Well, I don't know. I just started getting these ideas, and they formed themselves together into this film. And this is what came out.
What kind of ideas?
Well, I don't know how you all get ideas, but I got them in little pieces of ideas came floating in, and they formed together into larger chunks, and pretty soon a storyline would come about, and I started writing the film and making it.
Total cost of the film?
So I can't tell you that either.
Only the monster knows.
Yeah.
Had you done just a few films as like a student before this?
Yeah. Well, their Independent Filmmakers Grant Program. This is I made short films before this.
I'm really impressed on how crafty you are in this film.
Thank you very much.
You know, like most student films aren't as well put together as this. I assume this is your first sort of like feature length.
My first feature, right?
Well, it's just really superb piece of filmmaking. I'm not so sure. It's not the kind of film that I really enjoy, but I mean, it's just
Right.
superb.
I understand that. Thank you very much.
And I was wondering, did you have trouble with I mean, why did you choose black and white? I mean, I could sort of see that. I mean, like,
Well, to
glad
me,
you
it's
did
a-
at the end. You know?
Yeah, it's a definitely for me a film that should be in black and white. The mood, I love black and white. I love the mood that you get, and once more removed from reality, which this film needs.
What kinds of films do you enjoy watching? I mean, what kinds of filmmakers do you study, for instance?
Well, I didn't go to too many movies, and I don't see that many films. I like the normal films that most everybody likes. Not any kind of weird films. I don't see too many films.
Did you see Night of the Living Dead?
I never seen that. But people have, that always comes up, and other films come up with this.
How long did it take you to get this all together?
About 5 years.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Well, we ran out of money, and it took a lot of time to build things.
What kind of press reaction do you get on this sort of
There's not been a whole lot of press reaction. I'm up here right now. There's going to be some articles out in some of the papers in the area, but the film is relatively new out in the the world, and it's been playing in New York since October, and it's just opened here in Berkeley about 3 weeks ago. It's been playing in San Francisco for about 16 weeks, and it's playing down in LA. It starts off very, very slow and then builds, and so far it's been building everywhere except DC. It fell off there and they canceled it.
Locked into a midnight movie.
It looks like that, and in this film it's really good because it needs the overtime exposure. The regular run would have killed it for sure. So the midnight slot saves me in films like this. I feel real good about the film. We worked for 5 years to get it to be this way. This is the way I wanted it, and it's been about 2 years since it was finished for me, and I'm working on another project now. So I feel real good about this.
What's your project about?
I can't tell you about that. I'm just writing it, and it's just the beginning.
Are you employed by the CIA?
Yes.
Shooting script and all actual shooting.
We were shooting for a full year, about a full year altogether, and there was a script, and then I storyboarded, everything as we went along, and then we worked like that. There was a lot of control, and we all, worked real closely together, and a lot of times we had to shoot things at least twice to get it right. We had a lot of lab trouble, we had a lot of camera trouble, we had a lot of money problems, things like that.
Could you maybe talk about your certain concerns about the film?
Concerns about it?
Yeah, like certain feeling you try to bring out in the film. Ideas you have, feeling.
The mood of the film, like, or the mood you mean in the film?
Yeah,
Or,
right.
well, I'm really interested in mood and sound and visual working together to get a feeling of mystery and a feeling of openness where you can sort of zoom out to areas that you don't normally go out into. And I like the strange, little areas that Eraserhead country, sort of is, and developing another world. There's rules, even though it's a strange place, there's rules that you go by, and you have to obey all these rules the moment you start, but everything has to feel right and make sense, even though it's so strange. So I really tried hard to the humor a certain way so they could go from humor to frightening or scary or strange. And
in the bed scene with Nance and the voluptuous neighboring lady, were they supposed to be descending into a cup of milk?
or white fluid, yeah.
White fluid?
How did I go about writing it?
It's real hard. You can see to write something like this. There's very little dialogue, and
It's people. In other words, it wasn't a real long script. People would think I was sort of crazy or something, to say it was a feature-length film, or they wouldn't understand how it was going to work out. It was mostly visual, and I couldn't describe the sounds and things like that. So it was difficult. That's why, for me, the American Film Institute really worked out well, because I would have had a whole lot of trouble raising money on the outside for this. Now, if this film, even if it didn't do anything more right now, it would help me get another project going in the same vein. At least they know they could see this one and judge what the next one will be.
How was it difficult to write something that didn't need words necessarily, like writing? I can imagine writing the visuals. How would you go about expressing?
You can. It's sound and picture are, to translate into words, you're going to miss a lot,
Right.
and so it missed a lot. If you read the script, after seeing the movie, you might see the things, but before, you would never see what, the film is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. How would you write your ideas down about sequence?
It's not easy. I mean, you just have to describe it as best you can and hope that you paint a picture in someone else's mind that will closely match it.
Three questions actually. One, actors, do you go more for mood or something like that in the actor, or do you place them plastically and try to shoot that way?
I don't quite understand.
Well, you asked them more to get into
Yeah.
you.
We talk about mood, yeah, for sure, and feelings, and for Henry, we worked things out so that he was the kind of actor that he would go through things, and when he got in a certain way, he'd go through every single time and know every little teeny move, and that was the kind of way we did it. However, whatever it took to generate a certain expression or a certain movement, that's what we try to do, so that he would understand it way inside, and when it come out, just that way. And then he got it down and was able to do it over and over again.
Let me ask you about the characterization of Nance as Eraserhead, and then there was that scene in the basement when that was an actual pencil machine, or was that
No, I just built that.
Okay, and what does the idea of Eraserhead, and even going to the manifestation of actual pencils, what does that symbolize or embody?
He's real confused, and he's got a lot of troubles, and so this is a dream that he came up with, in his confused state. Yeah. So
Well, I'm just wondering whether the eraser part means that of loss of memory, loss of self, or whether it's just the rubberness
That's a
of
very
it.
good interpretation. That's that's real good.
Okay.
Do you know your sound man right now?
Oh yeah, he's one of my best friends.
Yeah, because it seemed like it was tight all the way through.
Yeah, we worked together for a couple of months on the sound, and I worked with him before on a film I made before this.
Yeah.
His name is Alan Splett. He's a fantastic technician, and we really had a lot of fun. Yeah.
What have you been doing?
What have I been doing?
I mean, how did you evolve?
Well, I went to art school and wanted to be a painter, and then I slowly got into film through animation. And the film I made before this was a short film called The Grandmother. It's part animation, part live action. And this has, very little animation, as you can see. So that's, I got in through painting. School, Corcoran School of Art and the Boston Museum School and the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. I never graduated from any of them. I went. Yeah.
The actors that you used in the film, how did you go about finding these people?
Well, some were recommended, and then they recommended other people, and it was pretty amazing in a way because I didn't have to cast around, too much. Henry was one of the first people I saw, and the rest, came that way, and it just worked out.
What was Sissy Spacek's contribution?
She put in some money. She's my sister-in-law, and my wife's brother is her husband, and they put in some money into the film.
Would you describe it that the first film would have filmed the whole thing like it was?
The first film I made was from painting. I was telling you, I built a three-dimensional sculptured screen. The screen was basically flat, about 6 feet square, with three-dimensional heads that came out of it. And then the film had faces that overlapped, and they went over and over and over again. 3 film faces which overlapped the three-dimensional faces, and then 3 more faces that were just film. And it distorted and gave life to these faces. But it had to go, together. But that wasn't really a film more than it was a painting.
Was it in color or black and white?
That was in color.
Where's the
long gone. Well, actually, the screen I sold, and the movie I've got somewhere, but it only worked together. The screen, I didn't realize about film that much. In the film, I filmed it, I animated it on a board, on about a 6-foot square board that sat on a radiator, and it had a wall behind it. And so, in the film, the radiator's there and the wall is there. So I had to hang the screen and let that part fall, back behind the stage. But so if you looked at it now, you'd see it would look sort of crazy.
Are there other people's work that you sort of feel similar concerns or sort of identify with?
There's other people's work that I like. I don't know that I have that many influences. I've got more influences through painting, I think, than through film.
Like who?
Like Francis Bacon and Kleinholz and Edward Hopper and yes, those are the main ones.
The tone of the movie reminded me an awful lot of the feeling I got when I was a kid and saw Frankenstein and Dracula and all this real tense and dark. I was just wondering if you really admire this.
I think I've seen Frankenstein. I don't think I've seen it in a real good print in a theater, but there might have been some influence, from that, but I don't think so.
How do you feel the difference between working this way and the way you have worked in your first film using the models in terms of idea of what art is?
Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to be alone in your studio, painting away, than to open yourself up to working with lots of people and equipment and money and all kinds of things that you have to work with in film. But the rewards are so much greater in film, that working with sound and picture both, and movement and time and all that, and a story, and the possibilities are just tremendous. And especially this business between sound and picture, I think that sound is really getting more and more and more important, and it's gonna be really fantastic what we're gonna see, in the future with feelings from two things working together, two senses really working together. It'd be really great. So I think artistically, film is way more exciting than painting, for sure. Well, it was over at the, I guess people liked it at this Deauville Film Festival in France, and then it just won this Golden Antenna Award and a special jury award at Cinema Fantastique, the Boreas Film Festival over in France.
Like, has anybody talked to you? Is it who you would respect who's giving you like a comment on the film, just friends or something?
Yeah, I've gotten good feedback. People, I think, respect the work, whether they really like sitting through it or not, or see problems in it. Still, the overall feeling is they think it's a good film.
Was it hard for the actors to deal with that, or to like work with that?
Work with what?
What's that?
The film, just to like deal with what you were doing.
Yeah, they got pretty involved though with everything, and although they didn't see the total thing, they really got into it, and we had a lot of fun. Henry would go around in his bathrobe, and they had a little pair of slippers, and we'd order pizza in, and he'd go out and get it and stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
Does he have that pain expression all the time?
No.
How did you shoot the film?
We shot it. There's the American Film Institute has this mansion down in, it's called Greystone, that Doheny, the oil millionaire, used to have, and in Beverly Hills. And the whole film, most of it was shot in the stable area of that mansion in Beverly Hills.
State?
Yeah, there was horse stables and attics, haylofts, big rooms and bedrooms, car garages and a greenhouse and
gardening rooms and stuff like that. It was quite a complex. I had about 7 rooms and an attic to build sets, and they let me alone down there. We had to work at night, and
Why'd you have to work at night?
because there were park department people around during the day and it was too noisy. So we locked it. We were actually locked in the grounds, these 18 acres, every night, and we had a key to one of the gates, but we didn't really go out that much.
Do you teach there?
No. I was a student there, and when I started the film, then I ran out of money and sort of had to find money on the outside. They continued to help me with equipment, but that was it.
Do that?
Well, I'm trying to get together another project. Like I say, I'm writing it, but I haven't made any money on this film yet. I was delivering the Wall Street Journal part of the time I was working on this film. We'd be shooting, I'd have to leave and shoot my round, and then come back and shoot some more. No. The distribution company puts out so much money to get things rolling, to make more prints, and to advertise and stuff like that. Even though this company is not putting out that much money, they have to make that money back before I get my percentage. And then once I get my percentage, I owe some people money that I have to pay before I get anything for that.
It seems that the Roxy, like a lot of people go to see it.
Yeah, it's doing okay.
I wish it didn't have to be slotted into a midnight hour. I do, because it's a really interesting film. I think it deserves an hour. Better concentration.
Gary Myers owns the UC Berkeley Theater, and they're going to run it at least one night at a regular time the next calendar's time. Yeah.
Have you seen the preview they're running for? Frankly, it's repellent. I mean, it really is.
Oh, it is, huh?
Yeah.
What is it?
It wouldn't inspire anybody to go anywhere for anything, and that's part of the problem, I think.
There's a trailer
really
for this film going
Yeah, I've seen the trailer at the UA, and they insist on running it twice, no less. But it's really, if you're paying a distribution company, you're not getting much for your money.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
After seeing
I've never
the
seen
film,
it.
it's a totally different thing. I go to a midnight show for this, but
We better check it out.
We better check that out. Yeah.
So they don't want to spend any money, the distributor doesn't want to spend any money.
You're in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So you don't want to say anything about your next film.
No,
It's going to be as powerful and make me feel as trapped.
I don't think so. This is this one, and the next one will be different, and probably appeal to more people. And I don't know, it'll be strange, but not like this one is.
Musical comedy.
There might be some music.
How do you feel about the film? If by chance it be broadcast on television on air instead of projected on the screen?
I think it would. Well, the sound would suffer, and the picture would suffer. And if they broke it up with ads, it would really suffer. It has to be a dark theater and have good sound to really get into the mood.
Right.
And so it would be really bad.
Right.
I don't think they would run it on TV anyway right now.
But it do need to get some financial support. I mean, they pay quite a bit.
Yeah. The film I ever made before this that was run on television.
So you would rather not?
Yeah, I'd say I probably wouldn't. But I mean, if the money was good, I probably would sell out, do it.
Where else is it playing right now?
New York, New Orleans, 2 places I think in Texas, Los Angeles, Berkeley, and San Francisco. And they've just recently gotten interest for other areas. I don't know if I haven't talked with them. I think they're making some deals for some more cities. There's a real lot of interest in France and England, but they haven't made any deals yet because they want to have it get stronger here before they deal with Europe. But the festival over there generated a lot of interest in it. So I think that some people want it, but
How would they translate the Eraserhead in French, I wonder?
I don't know how to speak French, but it's tête de facer or something like that.
Tête de gomme.
Yeah.
Well, then, thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming down.